Hello everyone, so today we're reading Jisatsu no tame no 101のhouhou, and I think this is part 4 or 5, and we stopped at this part where we had to choose follow Mido or ignore Mido. So I was thinking about choosing follow Mido, but I think they're gonna have some bad things happening, so I think I'm gonna just skip it. But let's follow Mido. That's more like it. Didn't think you'd be the type to go along with things, Takuji. With a glance that said follow me, Mido turned the corner and disappeared down the 4th floor hallway. His own rage shot Takuji a brief look before trailing after him. Shall we? Encouraged by Natane, Takuji followed, descending the stairs to the 4th floor. The hallway was lined with special classrooms, social studies archives, science labs completely deserted. The only sound was the distant murmur of the voices drifting in from the schoolyard. Mido and his group strolled past the science labs, chatting casually until they finally disappeared into the boys' restrooms. Huh? It's fine. Saying that, Natane walked right into the boys' restroom without a moment of hesitation. Left alone in the hallway, Takuji scrambled to follow. The moment he entered the bathroom, Mido grabbed him from behind in a tight hold. Takuji had been on guard, but expecting some kind of confrontation had worked against him. He was overpowered instantly and unable to put any resistance. Don't struggle, Tarabishi. What the hell are you doing? Quiet, quit acting all cool, you shithead. You're pissing me off. Let me go. Don't look at me with those self-righteous eyes. I'll show you something more interesting. Oi, hurry up and... What? What? Wait, what the actual hell? Everyone turned to look at Mido, their faces blank with confusion. Then, as if following his gaze, their eyes shifted. Kashiwagi. It was a guy named Kashiwagi. Technically a classmate to Takuji had never once spoken to him. Not that Takuji was the exception. Most of their classmates were probably the same. Kashiwagi was the kind of guy who clung to Mido's group in an attempt to secure a place for himself. To the other boys, he was nothing but boring. To the girls, he was just one of the Mido's ladies. In other words, Kashiwagi had no presence of his own. He was the ultimate supporting character, someone who could not exist on stage without a leading role to revolve around. He was that kind of guy, and yet, right now he was the lead. Right now, every pair of eyes in the restroom was locked onto him. So, was that why he was smiling? Kashiwagi was smiling as he thoroughly inserted a mechanical pencil into his right ear. At first, Takuji thought it was some kind of trick. The mechanical pencil was launched horizontally in Kashiwagi's head. What's this about? What the hell is this? Kashiwagi? I could die. The pencil was already more than halfway inside his skull. This is so... This wouldn't happen. From the ear it had pierced, a thick, dark stream of blood spilled out, trickling down like a waterfall. It really hurt. Tears began to spill from Kashiwagi's eyes. And yet he was still smiling. I... Muttering, Kashiwagi pressed the head of the mechanical pencil. Click, 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 click. I... Click, 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 click. Before long, something thin, red, and thick-like began to slowly emerge from Kashiwagi's left ear. It extended, straight up perpendicular to his head. It kept growing with each click. Growing, growing, growing. It took a moment for them to realize it was the lead from the mechanical pencil. It's lead. Meadow's voice sounded. Oh oh my god. Wait, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. I just my phone fell. Meadow's voice sounded almost like a dumb joke. Lead. No one was laughing. It was painfully silent. The soft afternoon light made everything look washed out, like an overexposed photograph. In the stillness, only Kashiwagi continued, with mechanical precision. Click, 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 click. Like a scene from an old silent comedy. A thin line of blood trickled down from Kashiwagi's nose. And yet he kept smiling. Like the very concept of death that suddenly struck him was so far beyond his comprehension that he did not even know how to express pain. They all stood there in stunned silence, watching his tear-streaked, laughing face, and then, "It hurts," he muttered, the words, barely more than a whisper. Then, like a puppet with its strings suddenly cut, he collapsed onto the floor with a sickening thud. His arms and legs twisted unnaturally, bending in directions that no human limbs should. His body no longer even looked human. What happened? It was like some grotesque ancient hieroglyph. As if his fall had triggered a switch, an unfathomable amount of blood began rushing from his ear. In an instant, his white shirt was soaked in red. Someone let out a choked gasp. That was the breaking point. Meadow and his gang bolted from the restroom like frightened animals. Only Takuji, Natane, and Kashiwagi's lifeless body remained. It's begun. I can show this part. Are you okay? It's begun. What has the underground burrowing type invasion biological weapon? The underground burrowing type? Takuji echoed words without understanding. It made no sense to him. No one bit. She repeated the phrase, enunciating each syllable carefully. The underground burrowing type invasive biological weapon. As if enunciating it deliberately made all the difference in the world. 4.6 billion years ago, they buried countless seeds deep beneath the Earth's surface. Now the time has come for humanity to venture into space. The moment is now, as if humanity is deemed unfit. The seeds will awaken, activating as weapons of total human annihilation. This is an undeniable truth document in the Bible. In ancient texts, in every prophecy of the world's end. Call them the demons, call it the apocalypse. The names don't matter, the fact remains. In the mirror's reflection, he saw her. Nathane quietly wiping off the liquid clinging to her tights and her hair with handkerchief. This is without a doubt an attack by the fourth type biological weapon, Big and Clarice. Big and Clarice sends out waves from the underground. Dying waves. Humans who synchronize with these waves come to believe that death is the path to salvation, and then they do what he did. Dying waves? Yes, waves. And Kelly's indiscriminate long-range dying wave attack. As she spoke, Nathane's excitement grew, her voice rising in pitch and in intensity. Enkelis. You don't understand, do you? It means eel. In Greek, it means eel. You had no idea, right? It's shaped like a eel. Listen, inside the spaceship, they followed me a hologram. It was slimy, black, so grotesque and so disgusting. 20 kilometers long. Its mass constantly shifts so they don't even know how heavy it is. It moves freely through the earth, slaughtering humans, the ultimate invasion weapon. You can understand it, but I can't because... Kumoi-san. Takuji cut her off. If he let her keep talking, he felt like his own mind started unraveling too. Nathan pursued her lips, seeming irritated at the interruption. Then after a moment, she let out a small sigh, because it entered inside me. Enkelis flooded my body with its obscene fluids. It felt awful. The ones who graped me, to be precise, they weren't aliens, but Enkelis itself. I only realized that now. The fluids from Enkelis gradually messed me up from the inside. Then made it so I could only think about lewd things. I couldn't even focus on studying anymore. To fight back against that, I had Mido and other cover me with their liquid. Enough. Nathan's story was incoherent and made no sense. No, rather than being incomprehensible, it was likely that there had never been any meaning to it in the first place. Maybe Kashiwagi's gruesome death had triggered her delusions, or maybe her delusions had perfectly aligned with Kashiwagi's death. Either way, it was all meaningless. This is what Takuji told himself. Forget all that. We need to tell a teacher or the police about Kashiwagi. You're right. Surprisingly, she agreed without argument. She pulled her uniform over her head in one fluid motion, then stepped toward Takuji. But wait a second. I need to fix my hair. She brushed past Takuji and started adjusting her hair in front of the mirror. It's all messy now. This is annoying. I hate this. Takuji could do anything. Takuji could do nothing but watch in stunned silence. Nathan's slow, deliberate movements gave him an uneasy feeling, as if time itself was gradually grinding to a halt. The moment he stepped out into the hallway, there was the air of reality. Or rather than the air itself, maybe it was more like a presence. It was quiet, yet he could distinctly sense the presence of many people. The familiar atmosphere of the school, an unmistakable trace of everyday life. Takuji was startled. He had never felt any real sense of connection to the world. Perhaps it was because just moments ago, the air inside that restroom had felt like something from another dimension, utterly disconnected from reality. Compared to that, even the grey world still felt somewhat familiar. Grabbing Nathan's hand, Takuji took off running. For now, he headed toward a nearby classroom, one on the third floor, intending to report the situation to a teacher there. Kashiwagi's death and the orgy involving Natane and the others were inextricably linked. He still had not figured out how to cover it up, but someone had died. There was no way he could just pretend something had happened. Besides, the body will be discovered sooner or later. Before the situation spiraled out of control, he needed to take some sort of action, anything to minimize the fallout that could come crashing down on on him and Natane. Moving swiftly down the empty hallway, Takuji hurriedly descended the stairs. A sudden chill ran down his spine. right behind him. It seemed like someone was standing there. But when he turned around, there was no one there. All he could see was the landing of the fourth floor he had just passed. Before he even had time to question it, someone slipped right past him. It happened, and suddenly Takuji let out a small, involuntary gasp. What's wrong, Torabishi-kun? Just now no one. There was no one there. And yet Takuji had felt it. Someone had passed right by him, muttering something under their breath as they did. Die. He could have sworn that was what they said. Suddenly he felt a light tap on his shoulder. Natane had gently placed her hand on him. You okay, Torabishi-kun? Yeah, it's nothing. That was all he could say. Before technically nothing had happened. But something was wrong. Ever since that chill ran down his back, it felt like the very structure of the surrounding air around him had changed. Of course, the air was invisible, and nothing in his field of vision had actually changed. There was simply a strange, undeniable sense of wrongness. The world felt denser, like he was submerged in water. The air he inhaled seemed to stick to his lungs, cringing uncomfortably. The structure of the air had shifted. She murmured softly. Startled, Takuji turned to look at her. She was scanning their surroundings with a serious expression. You can feel it too, can't you, Torabishi-kun? This school, no. This entire town is already under the influence of Enkel's dying wave. The dying wave alters the structure of the air itself. It reshapes the world, making it easier of them to act. We have to hurry, it's dangerous. He did not inquire about it further. The last thing he wanted was to get dragged any deeper into her delusions. Or maybe he was just too afraid to ask. Reaching the third floor, Takuji dashed towards the classroom and in front of the stairs. Or well, just as he was about to rush inside, a firm grip seized his shoulder from behind, stopping him in his tracks. Natane was staring at him, her expression tense and serious. No, this classroom is no good anymore. Look. She slid the door open just a fraction. Hesitant but compelled, Takuji peered through the gap. Inside, a lesson was in progress. A middle-aged teacher stood at the podium. Students sat at their desk, notebooks open. Alright. Handling blades might seem a little scary at first, but as long as we're all united in purpose, there's nothing to fear. This is something I say every day, so you all understand already, right? Good. If you don't have a box cutter, borrow one from someone who's finishing using theirs. This won't be on the test, but it's important. At that, the stout pressed the box cutter in his hand against his own throat, and with a smooth motion slit it open. Blood erupted like a fountain. Wait, what? What happened next before their eyes was almost like a beautiful ritual. One by one, the students mimicked the teacher's actions with perfect precision, slashing their own throats open. There was not even a hint of hesitation. Their movements were flawless. It was like one of those mass games in communist state, the kind of Takuji had once seen on TV. Thousands of arms lifting, swinging, lowering in unison. A perfectly synchronized motion, beyond ideology, beyond meaning reduced to a simple mesmerizing act. Nothing more, nothing less. And as is sometimes the case with swings executed too perfectly, there was something about it that felt oddly, unsettlingly comical. The students in the classroom were both beautiful and absurd. Each one pressed a box cutter against their throats, then applied it. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then, as if remembering it was supposed to, blood erupted from the open ones. There was no sound, no whoosh, or hiss, or no dramatic element about it whatsoever. Just the dur, repetitive thuds of bodies collapsing onto the desk. It was simply bizarre. Not tragic, not eerie, not even abnormal. There was no room for any of those reasonable reactions. It was just bizarre. Takuji stared at Natane in stunned silence. She noticed his gaze, but remained completely composed. There's nothing surprising about this. Dying is contagious. If someone jumps into a pool and starts having fun, others follow, right? It's the same thing. They get drowned in. You've heard of dying spots, haven't you? That's how they operate, achieving a maximum effect with minimal effort. There were a certain air of satisfaction in the way she spoke. And as Takuji listed, as indescribable irritation began to swell inside him. That's enough, Komoe-san. You see, don't you? In this case, the teacher is acting as the leader, like the Pied Piper of Hamelin. In the end, people find it easier to follow orders. True unrestricted freedom is paradoxically, shut the hell up. Nathaniel pursed her lips, as if wounded, then simply shrugged. It will spread, it won't stop. Everyone will die. Takuji shook his head, trying to shake off her words. Focus. Yes, I am confused. Think. Yes, I have to think. He had no intention of buying into her delusions about dying waves and began being drowned in. But something was happening, something abnormal, something beyond explanation. That much, at least, was undeniable. Think. What shall I do? Samomo, Momiji, Kanna. Their faces flashed through his mind like lightning. He had to save them. From what exactly, he still did not know. But right now, he had to be with them. That was the one thing he knew for certain. The closest classroom was Samomo's, at the end of this third-floor hallway. The hallway was silent, save for the sound of their footsteps. Now and then violent noises would echo from the classrooms they passed, to crash overturned desks, voices raised in frantic screams. But Takuji had no intention of looking inside anymore. Takuji ran, with only one thought on his mind. I have to reach Samomo's classroom as fast as possible. Nathaniel followed slightly behind. Wait, Rabish-kun. Takuji did not wait. He ignored her voice and kept running. If he was even 1 second too late, Samomo might have already taken her own life. There was no time to enter Nathaniel's delusions. His panic and frustration boiled over into anger directed at her. Before you go in the classroom, check first. It could be dangerous. Takuji ran, while hearing her voice in the background. It took no time at all to reach someone's classroom. Okay, we have another things we can choose. Okay, so it's Takuji could not waste another second. He burst into the classroom with agitation, or Takuji listened to Nana's warning and carefully peeked inside first. I don't know if I feel like they both go to the same route, but I'm not sure. I mean, we will see next time. So goodbye everyone, and thank you for watching.